Hi. Happy Sunday, guys. This is Karen here, your favorite virtual assistant. Today, Gail's not with me today, but she'll be here next week. So, today, of course, we brought Tiffany McKinney back to discuss faith and fuel one woman's journey to self discovery. The last live was a little choppy, and for me and Gail thought that her message didn't, wasn't hear well, but wasn't listened well. So, we decided to bring her back on to a version 2.0 to continue the discussion. All right, so here we're gonna bring my guest. Hi,
Hey
Tiffany.
everyone. Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going
I'm.
on? Hello.
Uh, thank you. I want to say thank you for just coming back, to for a second part because the first one with the audio, like I said, the audio was very choppy, and then towards the end, you barely couldn't hear anything. So I didn't like that, So well, me and Gail didn't like it. Let's put it like that. We listened to it backward. We both listened to it twice to see maybe it was a problem with the system, because internet you never really know. So we decided, hey, why don't we bring see she's available to come back to have a second part. Because we felt that your story was very important, and I think that with the noise and the internet, it wasn't her. People couldn't really take the messaging here right. So let's start from who are you, Tiffany? Introduce yourself to everybody, to other viewers. Let's go.
Hey everybody. It's great to be able to come back and just basically do it again because again, sometimes when things doesn't work out, you got to come back and you got to try it again. But my name is Tiffany McKinney. I am a author. I am a elder in an amazing church. I am oh my gosh, a caterer. I'm a lot of different things. So many titles that I am, but most of all, I'm just Tiffany, somebody, a woman who is walking through a life, waiting on God to actually direct, get in the direction that is needed in order for me to continue to walk in the life that God chose for me. And it's not easy. It's obstacles every single day. It does not mean that I give up. I keep going. So that's who I am
Yes,
day to
that's
day.
that's that, that's a big that's important. That just your why to the creator and hold on to that and allow him to guide you to your purpose, right? And I think
Hmm.
that's important. But I also wanna I know last time I don't know if people well, they should probably heard it, but I think I'm gonna just go a little bit over what we discussed last time.
Hmm.
And then I do have a few other set of questions because as we was watching it, we was like, wait a minute, let's elaborate on this a little bit more. And then something that you have mentioned on TikTok recently that I was like, that's interesting. I would like to know more about that. So
Oh my
nothing
God.
bad,
Like what did I say? Wait a
nothing bad,
minute. I need
nothing
to go
bad.
back and probably watch a TikTok. Wait a minute. What did I
Nothing,
say? But go ahead. Go ahead.
nothing bad.
That's
So I
fine.
know the first time you mentioned that when I asked you in reference to what made you want to, what was the pivotal moment in your life that you chose to say, how with it, I'm going to do the surgery, I'm going to ultimately take control of my life, right? And I know you mentioned you tried this 600 pound TV
Mhm.
show,
Mhm.
and because of the requirements, you felt like you was devalued, you was not going to do it, and
Mhm.
then you tried a second facility or a doctor's office, and the requirement was for you to be able to walk to the facility, and then we'll be able to do the surgery. But I know you said that you found a nutrition that was able to help you, but what we didn't go in deep was sometimes when you deal with healthcare insurance, right? Because I deal with healthcare insurance, a lot of the times authorizations is always the issue. It's always the stopping, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Right? So, with that being said, do you struggle with that as far as dealing with the health insurance and going through the authorization process for to allow them to approve this exam because it is something that you definitely did need it, or that's something that you didn't have to experience at all.
Um, I didn't go through a lot of difficulties when
Okay,
it
good.
came to health insurance, and I
That's
think it's
good.
because I was orbitly, quote unquote, well, not quote unquote, I was orbitally obese.
Right.
So there was, she needs it to get better. It was approved. It was
Right.
like and no, let me say this. there were a lot. I was blessed. And let me start off with that because I like to give God credit where credit is due in every angle of my life. I was
Right.
blessed enough to have doctors, nurses, physical therapists who
Mm.
fought for me. And
That's
I say that.
wow. That's
Um,
good.
and I say that because there were certain equipment that I needed when I
Mm-hmm.
was bedbound. So I needed a lift chair. I needed a shower chair. I needed to have my shower, my bathroom remodeled. I needed
Mm-hmm.
so there was a lot of different things that I needed to get to the where I stand today. You know what? You're about to make me praise God. And I say that because um just the reminder of what I had to go through. What happened was when I moved into the house that I was living in, it was a normal house, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I had a hard time getting through the front door when I first moved
Mm.
there. So once I got in, there was no way for me to get out. Let me
Oh
just say
wow.
that, okay?
Wow.
Because that's how large I was. I couldn't use my bathroom, even though I was bedbound. If I wasn't bedbound, I still would not be able to use the bathroom that was in the house.
Mm. Okay.
So I had a amazing physical therapist. Shout out to Miss Leah, who came in and was like, "You need double doors. You need a ramp. You need to have your
Mm.
bathroom remodeled. If we're going to work towards these things, these are the things that needs to be done." And so she fought hard, got me into different programs,
Mm.
work with my doctors, work with my nurses. And because all of these people worked in the medical field, they
Mm-hmm.
knew where to go, how to go, and what needed to be said.
Right.
Because as you know, you worked in the medical field, you
Right.
know that there are certain things that the insurance company need to see
Yes. Right.
in order
Correct.
to approve and authorize. So
Right.
they knew the verbiage. They
Mm-hmm.
used the right verbiage, the right wording. They knew, okay, you know what, Tiffany, in order for you to get this, you're going to have to be in my program for 6 weeks. And then 6 weeks after that, they're going to do a follow up to see if you still need these services.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
I was blessed to have people who knew the work, knew the health field enough to get me the equipment that I needed. So I didn't have issues with authorizations and things like that. But I knew a lot of people, and I know still a lot of folks who did an incident just occurred recently where someone was asking me, "How did you get your skin removal so quickly after surgery, after your
Mm-hmm.
bariatric?" Well, what people didn't understand, I suffer from a skin disease.
Right.
I have I being sick, I had psoriasis
Mm-hmm.
prior to being completely sick. So my psoriasis turned into multiple other psoriasis,
Wow. Okay.
other stages. In one of them, which I still suffer from, and I thank God I have control over it now. It's called SIBO psoriasis.
Mm-hmm.
SIBO psoriasis is basically where your skin normally, you know how when your skin peels, you know, the summertime, we just talking about that summer, it's hot,
Right.
wet,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you go right there, skin peel, and it takes normally average a person's skin to regrow back or cells to grow back. If I'm mistaken, whoever's out there listening to this, if I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. I think it's like 15 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are a SIBO psoriasis patient, your skin grows back within 4 to 5 days.
Wow.
So, prime example, my head, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have SIBO psoriasis in my hair. So it may look like I have dandruff, right?
Right.
And I can go today and wash my hair out, scrape it all out, get all the good stuff. And then 2 days later, I got
It
a
comes
huge
back.
patch
Wow. Okay.
that looks like dandruff, but that's just because my skin grows back quicker
Faster.
than someone who dandruff may grow back in like 2 weeks after they get their hair done. You know, you got to wash it, right? That's
Right.
not my situation. The same with my skin. I can bruise up today, but tomorrow it'll be a 2 days, it'll be a whole layer of skin back.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so
Right.
because of that, that was the reason why, because I have SIBO psoriasis, I have eczema, so we talked about that.
Right.
I have SIBO psoriasis, eczema, And all three of those diseases cause me to have a lot of rashes underneath the extra folds of skin.
Right.
Um, it caused, like right now, I still have to go and see a plastic surgeon in Raleigh, in Durham, because my skin on my legs is the back of my legs, the skin is dying. It's black.
Wow.
And they're like, you have to remove that before it causes other issues. So the more weight you lose, the more that is going to die off.
Wow.
And so they had to start off with something. The worst thing that they had to start with the worst and go to the better. So
Right.
I still have a lot of surgeries that I still have to do for plastic surgery wise, but I have a condition. If you
Right.
don't have a condition and you need to and you want to do these things, then insurance is not paying for it. They're like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
if you want that to be done, you pay for it. I think it's like $25,000 for like one procedure. I think. Please
No.
don't
No.
quote
No.
me because I don't
No.
know
But
for sure.
right. But what's important that you mentioned your medical team, right? They all work together and they're always able
Hmm.
to, right? They understand the verbiage. And I think from my experience, right, and I find that a lot with patients that depending on the medical team, because every medical team is not the same, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Depending on the medical team that they have, they struggle trying to get these exams authorized. Like they really do struggle. But a lot of it too have to do with documentation. A lot of the time insurance want to see history of something, right? What
Yes.
have you tried? What
Yes.
have you done? Are you just doing this for the first time and there's no history behind this? So
Hmm.
there's a lot of factors that play when it comes to authorization. I just want people to know that because I do authorization all the time, every day. Like this is,
Yeah.
you
And,
know.
and and to piggyback off what you said, I'm an advocate about, and it's so funny because I just told my best friend this. Um, I'm an advocate about getting your records. People, get your medical records.
Yes.
And let me tell y'all something.
Yes.
And what I'm learning, because I'm here in North Carolina now, and I don't know yet. My first doctor's appointment is not until this month, so thank God. But when I lived in Ohio, they have something called My Chart, and I just found out it's in New York City too. So
Yes.
people, check out if your doctors have a program called My Chart, and if you download the app, it normally gives you like all of the doctor offices and stuff. It tells you like what brand and stuff, whatever. My chart is your best friend because it
Mm-hmm.
actually has to, when the doctors be in the office with you guys and they type it on that computer and they use my chart, those notes and everything go directly into your my chart account. That's number one. Number two, when I was going through all my surgeries, my cousin, who was also my power of attorney at one point, she had access to my chart. So if you have somebody
Mm-hmm.
that you trust with your medical history, she let them have access, and you can give them access through your my chart account, who can see. And I say that because when I was going through my bariatric surgery, it was so ironic that she was getting notifications, even though my cousin was in the hospital with me waiting for me. She was getting notifications through my chart, what was going on in the operating room,
Excuse me.
what was happening, what they need to do. And because I had and I know we offer sidebar, we got other stuff to talk about, but
Yeah.
I had did an I had signed up. Sidebar. I'm an advocate. My mom always taught me to be an advocate to, when you go into hospitals, choose teaching hospitals because they always have to update the equipment. They always have to be up to date with everything that's going on. So that's just a
Mm-hmm.
sidebar if you think about doing surgeries. But um, I had signed up for not an experiment, but a study.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to know why so many Americans were overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ohio State University, and I love that hospital, and this is why I'm giving them a whole big shout out. Ohio State University, they conducted a study, and what they do is they would come in and they would ask you, whoever's doing, do you mind if we take a sample of your of your fat, of your
Mm-hmm.
stomach that they're removing,
Mm-hmm.
or of your skin, whatever, because we want to know what genetics you have and if we can help somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I gave them permission. And ironically, my surgery only took 45 minutes and I did the gastric bypass. Some people surgeries go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I was blessed to have 45 minutes. And they said
Wow.
it is extremely rare that somebody that was my size and my weight to get on the operating table and let them do the gastric bypass surgery and let them do that experiment, get that what they needed for that testing, and be out the operating table in 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for God. Not saying that everybody's surgery is gonna go like that, but I want y'all to be advocate because I was on that table. My cousin sitting in the waiting room in the my chart was able to see what medications the doctors were administrating, what they was doing when the people came in and got the sample. She's seen that in my chart. So I'm an advocate for my chart. If your
Mm-hmm.
doctor's office, if your hospitals have this program, ask about it, get it, because this will help you to see. And then you can keep an eye on what they're doing. If they supposed to do something for you and they didn't do it, you can write them through your my chart.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, y'all was supposed to do X, Y, and Z. You can schedule. You don't have to call in doctor's office no more to make appointments. You can schedule it through your my chart. They can talk to you through my chart. So I'm a big advocate for my chart. I would tell anybody to get it because it helps you to be able to get to where you need to go when it comes to all of your health and stuff like that. But get
Yeah,
your stuff.
yeah. I think no, but this is I mean that this particular topic about EMRs and EMRs and EHR systems, right? This is going to be another conversation because it's a lot that goes into it when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
that. It's a so we're not going to
We're
dip
not gonna
into
go
it
into
because
that. Yeah.
right, because then we're going to go to a whole nother we're going to go a whole nother
Right. We're
way.
gonna go to a whole nother
But
realm. Right.
she's right. It's always good to have copies of your records, especially if you move and you travel. You go, people move from one state to another, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case might
Mm-hmm.
be. But I
Mm-hmm.
also want to go a little bit about the two books that you have, right? Which is the
Right.
True Love, Where Your Hearts Find the Truth, and the
Mm-hmm.
new book that you have out. Because I know last live you mentioned that the inspiration came based on you not being able to walk. You wasn't able to walk at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Describing the characters, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
character that you write, is
Mm-hmm.
there maybe unintentionally, right? Is there some truth to maybe to your own seeing reflecting on yourself through the characters?
Are you telling my business? Yeah. I think you're telling my business, Karen. Um, Honestly, yes, there is a lot of me in my characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that is because again, if you don't know my story, me being 654 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
not being able to walk, not being able to go outside. And I
Right.
don't know if anyone out there has experienced that. But when you are bedridden,
Mm-hmm.
your your life goes a different way. So
Right.
you have to find happiness somewhere. Not only that, I was going through a really bad marriage. I was
Mm-hmm.
going through depression. I was going through anxiety. I was going through a lot of mental different things. And then on top of that, I had a lot of family issues that I was suppressing.
Right.
Okay. And so writing was an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
It was my voice. It was my voice can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you're in that position, you don't think that you have a voice. You don't
Yeah.
think that people are paying attention to you. You don't feel like when you speak, it matters. I found out later on, I was being robbed multiple times by my aides. I found out a lot of stuff that was going on around in my marriage that I didn't even know about because
Mm-hmm.
I was bedridden.
Right.
So these characters, Chantel, um, Victoria, Teresa, all of these characters, there is a little bit of Tiffany. Okay. If you know me, a lot of my friends know me, you know me, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
You may look at this character and be like, okay, I see something. That Tiffany been through that. You
Yeah.
know, and in my first book, and we talked about it in the last live, she was a superhero. She felt like she had to be the one to keep her family together.
Mm-hmm. That was you.
Hi, my name is Tiffany. I feel
Right.
like I'm a superwoman. And then
Right.
I need to make everybody else happy. And
Right.
I put my happiness on the back burner. And that's
Mm-hmm.
basically what some of my characters portray. In the
Right.
new book, You're going to see a lot of love issues and weight issues in the
Mm-hmm.
new book. You're going to see some things about that character, and you may read and be like, okay, we don't know what the last series book is going to foretell. I don't know what God, I know what I asked God to do for me in my
Mm-hmm.
last book part of the series. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that I am vulnerable enough to
Mm-hmm.
allow God to take me there. And I'm just telling my truth. There's a
Yeah.
vulnerability that you have to have when you decide to release things into your books. Maybe every writer is not like me. I'm telling you, I don't even consider
Right.
myself a writer. I'm just considered somebody who I
The
have some
nerve,
things
girl. The
I
nerve.
don't.
Well, you
I really don't.
should. You
I don't consider
should.
myself a writer or author. I consider
Mm-hmm.
somebody who I see some things in my head and I just write it out on paper. And I may in that time frame put some stuff about you know what I mean? Like I don't like to do
Mm-mm.
one of these a lot. I'm not one of those. And I need to be.
I was about to. Good thing that you brought you. You let me right. You let me there, girl. Okay, I think that you
I need to
do.
be.
You know why? Because it came from something, an idea from your mind that God gave to you, right? He
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't. He didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to nobody else. So it's
Hmm.
for you to have. And I
Yeah.
think that you should own that. Own that fact that you wrote it, right? It,
Yeah.
you had the creative, juices, right? To a creator that he gave you the ideas to come to write it out, and then now everybody gets to experience it. Because believe it or not, those characters, yes, are maybe a pieces of you, but it's also pieces of someone else too,
Because you about to
right?
inspire me. You about to make me cry.
Don't cry, girl. I was not trying to do that, but I'm just saying that's reality. You seeing it through your lens of your experiences and what you was living at that time, but even through your own lens, other people might be experiencing the same thing. And maybe by reading it, the book, sometimes you know how sometimes you read something and it's like shit. Excuse me. This is me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it's so funny you
shit.
said that because my coworker is so
You
funny.
know?
My coworkers on my job, they got to the Hyatt Corporation. Um, one of my coworkers, she was like, "Girl, I just read your book. Girl, that book is good." She said, "Y'all
Right.
better get married." And it's so when she came in, and she was like, I know when people say that they write and they got these books, a lot of people do it for their little thing. She was like, "Girl, you can write." Like I just be like,
Yeah, that's why I say
okay.
give yourself props,
Um,
because even though you feel like you're not a writer, but yeah, I think you should give yourself that ownership and that proudness, because even though maybe to you might be like, oh, maybe just a book, but through the process of reading book, you actually may be enlightening somebody's mind, right? Because
and
maybe that particular character, it portrays who they are right now, and
yeah,
maybe that might help them shift, maybe help them create a different life for that person, because they're able to see, damn, this is me. Maybe it gives you self analyze, right? Give you a self audit to be like, yo, my
inspired
mother
me.
did, my father did do, and
Right.
that's why I think
I
that's
mean,
wany say I think you should own it. I think you should own
I
that
mean,
and be proud of
it's.
it.
I'm proud of. Let me say this. I am very proud of where I'm at today. I'm proud of me being
Yes.
able to tell my truth. Because anybody who knows me knows I don't like telling my truth, and I'm still learning how to tell my truth. I think one thing that breaks me often is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really asking God to help me get out of this. Is I try to like put myself in a corner and be by myself sometimes because I don't want to offend or do anything that hurts somebody, right?
Right.
And I gotta, and I think what keeps coming back to mind is you're gonna have to come to the forefront, Tiffany, because there's some things that need to be said and spoken of, girl. And that sometimes scares me. But I agree. I feel like we have to be proud of where we are. I am proud that I got
Yes.
another book out.
Yes.
It's kind of scary. I need to probably do a live after this on either
You
TikTok or
should.
Facebook and tell them that this book is finally out. I was really
You
waiting for
should.
this. I was waiting for this podcast to come out and then say, "Hey, y'all, second book is out." Uh,
Right.
but
Well, Tiffany book is
um,
out, y'all.
the second book is y'all. If y'all out there, the second book is out. It's called The
I'm gonna
Loving
put the
Heart.
link. Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
put
called
the
The
links.
Loving Heart. It's on Amazon. The Kindle version won't be out still until November 25th. I'm not going to change that. Something's telling me to keep that the same way because a lot of people want to get the quick version. I want people. I'm a hardcover book type girl. I love having
Right. Me
books in my
too.
hand.
Me
I don't
too.
know. For some reason, new generation don't like having books in their hands.
Yeah.
I like having a book in my hand. Okay, that's just Tiffany.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting people to want to go out and buy the book. But I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And my overseer is so about you need to be happy and proud of where you at. She
Yes.
tells me that all the time. And it's hard sometimes because you don't think that you're worth it, but I'm worth
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes, of
And I have
course.
to give and I say that because I heard this TikToker uh just recently. She was talking about, her love life, and she basically told, like, her and the guy she was dating had got into some issues, and she basically told him it's a privilege to date me.
Okay.
And she said, and before y'all come for me, it's a privilege to date for somebody to date you too. And I was like, oh,
Yes.
okay, you know. So the confidence that she portrays, and that is what I get. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning how to be confident in me. That's nice.
Yes.
Okay, what's your next one? So
Yes.
yeah, that go
Yes.
get that
Yes.
book. Go get
Yes.
that book.
Yes. Okay. I know you just mentioned that was good. You said that as far as coming up public, right? Telling your story. At what point did you decide, okay, maybe I should give my story? Maybe I should start sharing my story. And what was that change? What was that pivot in your mindset to be like, you know what? I'm gonna start telling my story, people to hear me.
Okay, so honestly,
Uh-huh.
okay, I didn't want to tell my story.
Okay. Why?
I didn't want to create phenomenal crowns.
That was gonna be my second part two question, but go ahead since you're leading me to the question.
Okay, I didn't want to do any of that because it leads y'all think I'm playing when y'all gonna hear me talk about my big sister, who's also my overseer, Jackie, a lot because she is literally the person that pushes me.
That's good.
She doesn't know how pivotal she has done things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when people started asking me to tell my story, she would go around like, "Girl, she got a story." I'd be like, "I ain't got no story. I just God help me get through to this part." So
Mm-hmm.
she's in real pivotal. Jackie, I love you. If you see this, I love you because you're the reason why people are now calling and asking, "Hey, can you come on and do my show?" Or, "Hey, do you
Mm-hmm.
mind coming to speak at this?" And so forth and so forth. And more than anything, God, I never not leave Him out. But I didn't want to tell my story. I didn't want to start Phenomenal Crowns because, again, like I said before, I didn't feel like I had something to say.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want, and the only reason, and let me tell y'all, the only reason that really catapulted me, besides Jackie and my mom, and of course my best friend Michelle, and Jennifer, who's on my team
Mm-hmm.
with Phenomenal Crown. So if you're a part of Phenomenal Crown, Jennifer, Jackie, mom, Michelle, all those watching, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a part of this other Facebook group. I'm not mentioning the name of the group. And I used to just go on there because they talked about Black women who had the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I would go on now, and it would touch me when certain women would get these stories and people would talk about them and all these different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And people will bully them in this group. People will get bullied.
Wow.
You understand? I mean, these women and these men were being told that you were ugly and you were fat and you wasn't
Mm-hmm.
worth nothing. One woman came out and said, "My family told me so. You gonna get on this operating table and then you gonna make us take care of your kids because you ain't gonna get up from that table." Like the stories that came out of that group. And so I used to do lives to encourage. Let me tell
Wow.
y'all, just giving God's word, just encouraging
Mm-hmm.
people. And it started off for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. It went to 30 minutes. Then
Mm-hmm.
people started coming on to the live.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had like a following of people, and I
Okay.
was just like, what is going on? And then one young lady, Jennifer, I love you. I know you're gonna watch this. She reached out to me and was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Sis, I just want to tell you thank you."
Mm.
And there's women in here that wanted to kill themselves, and because they watched your live, they didn't do
Wow.
it.
That's
And I was
powerful.
like, God, that's you. That ain't me. I ain't saying nothing, y'all. That was God. And so she started. I had to do an engagement, a speaking engagement for our other church, Ecclesia Ministry Worship Center in Brooklyn, New York. Big up to them too. Apostle Meredith Jordan. Saturdays they have services if they shall need to go. Just saying. Anywho, um, so I had to do a speaking engagement, and I put the flyer out on my Facebook page, and she came on.
Hmm.
Then I had to speak at my church, First Love Outreach Ministries, and she came on, and then she just kept
Hmm.
coming, kept
Hmm.
coming. And then she spoke out one day at the church service and was like, I'm here because of Tiffany. And I was like, I don't even know who this girl is.
Well,
I was-
well,
but she knew me and she kept following
right,
me to different
right.
things. And finally, she joined the church. I was
Oh,
excited. She
okay.
joined the church, and through a couple of conversations throughout the church, that we had different services and things that we did, especially our Bible study. Bible study is major for us and it's growth for us. And throughout Bible study, she kept mentioning how these women needed to go into a different place and how I needed to start a new group. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's a
Hmm.
responsibility that I don't want to take. Mm.
Hmm.
Because that's people's lives. And I
Right.
don't care what nobody say. When you are and I'm not gonna say quote unquote public figure, but when you are in leadership or a figure over something, there's an expectation that people put on you.
Right.
I
Right.
knew how responsible that was going to be, and I did not want to take that on. It took a lot of pushing.
Hmm.
And we lasted 2 years. Nothing we lasted. We are coming back. We are going to ramp everything. But in that 2 years, a lot has happened. A lot of things that
Hmm.
the women don't even know about has happened behind the scenes. That it was a strain physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Hmm.
So if you
Right.
want to start a group, and even with what you guys, you and Gail is doing with the Sunday chat, it's a hassle
It's a lot. Yeah,
because
you're
it's a
right.
lot. It's not.
Yeah,
Let me say,
you're
it's not a
right.
hassle. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
It's not a hassle. It's a lot of
That's it.
responsibility
Hmm.
because it's a consistent content that you have to put out.
Right.
So that was. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want
Right.
that responsibility. Daddy, I didn't want to do a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know
So,
what I
what made
mean?
you change your mind? What would make you say, you know what, maybe I should do it? Maybe I should do this group.
Let's just say a couple of women came looking for me. They came
Okay.
my inbox, honey. My mama and them was like, girl, we got this. You got to do this. And so it has
Right.
been a pleasure, but it's also been a journey that I could have never embarked on. And I'm still learning. I
Okay.
have not reached the end of this journey with this group or with my life, but I am in a pivotal part of my journey because now there's a lot of self-reflection that's going on.
Hmm.
I'm big on self-reflection. So
Hmm.
if you don't know what you need to do, self-reflect. And this
Hmm.
is where I'm at right now because there's so much mentally and emotionally that I'm going through
Okay.
that I need to self-reflect to find out why I'm feeling these certain things. So yeah, it's a lot of self-reflection. And if you're embarking on something, you need to fully trust in God. And if you don't take on something that you can't handle.
Right. Which is true. I agree with you. But
And
when
that
it comes to Phenomenal Crown, what is your vision for it? Like, what's the reason? What do you hope people get from the group? Right. What is the for women? Because it's a women's group, so empowering women group. So, what
yes.
is your vision for it, and what do you hope women get from the group?
So what I started the vision was for women who were going through weight loss surgery.
Okay.
That was the main goal.
Okay.
As time has evolved these last 2 years, I've realized that there are so many other issues besides weight that we as
Yes.
women deal with. And
Yes.
so this is why my team and I have taken a major break because now we want to kind of hit on all those other topics.
Right.
It's important that we are mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, and spiritually healthy.
Right.
You can't just focus on your physical when your mental is jacked up.
That's true.
You can't just focus on your physical when you are missing out on a major part of spirituality in your faith.
Right.
Especially if you have that. If you don't have that part, that's fine. I'm not pushing. Let me tell you something. I'll never push my God on nobody. I may talk
Right.
about him and what
Right.
he's done for me, but I'm not
Right.
going to push him because he's not that kind of God. But I think that there's so many different parts. There are a lot of the women in our group who are mothers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the women in our group have not had surgery, but they've gone through other forms of surgery, from cancer, from problems with visions. So
Right.
I realized I have these support of women. Y'all gotta excuse me, somebody is outside. Do you want me to cut that off? Okay.
No, no, no.
Um,
I know you having a storm and all that. Don't worry about that.
okay. So literally there is the other parts that women are going through that does not deal with just weight.
Right.
And I feel that the women that I have in my group that have not had the weight surgery, it's unfair that I don't focus on those topics.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
now I'm re-ramping phenomenal crowns because phenomenal crowns, excuse me, I am going to shut my window. That's what they said. Hold on one
Oh,
second. Okay.
okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No worries.
Um, Being that we just came out of the storm, we had a little trees down and people are cutting down stuff.
Cutting. Yeah, of
Yes.
course. You gotta be
Um,
safe.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
literally, I wanted to deal with all those other topics. We have parents. We have women that's going back to school. We
Mm-hmm.
have women who started businesses and that may be struggling. We have women who want to learn how to get into businesses. We have all types of women, different cultures, different backgrounds, different races. It's unfair for me just to focus on weight.
Right.
I want to touch everything. So I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of different things for Phenomenal Crown. So y'all look out for it because it's coming back full force.
Yes. Okay. Well, yes. Well, I'm ready for it because I mean, I really did enjoy the group. Everybody is supportive there.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check it out. I'll put the link. I know the page is on the construction, but can it
Yes.
still it's the request to invite even though the page is under construction right now?
Yes. So that's a great question, Karen, because my team just called me like a couple of days ago and they was like, "Hey, we're still getting invites for people to come in." Yeah, they can come in, but let's put out another post. Hey, listen, you guys
Right.
are more than welcome to come in.
Right.
But just know that we are re-ramping some things, and we
Right.
want to hold. I'm going to hold a full-fledged live when we are ready to go and start. I've been
Okay.
talking to different people because I want to just to give you a little snippet. I want to focus on so much parts of life. We love to travel. I want to get some people, some travel agents in.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
We have a lot of women who are we deal a lot with makeup and skincare. I want to get petitions in and I want to just get different people to come in and do lives and talk and answer
Right.
questions that we may not be able to get those answers to. So
Right.
there's a lot of different things that I'm working on. And I want to open up the floor to allow new topics and new things. So look out for it. We just waiting to get some things together.
Okay, well, guys, look out for the group. I'll put the link in the chat, and then you guys could send an invite. And then, of course, there's going to be a post as far as her group is being revamped and when it's going to be restarting again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also want to I want to pivot a little bit because I know in the last live you mentioned that sometimes sharing your struggles, right, with your family and your close one was a little difficult because
Mhm.
sometimes you don't want to put those things on people that we care about. So during your journey, at what point did you decide to start sharing your struggles with your family and friends?
My best friend.
Okay.
Um, okay. Sorry. Spell that out. Yeah, so my best friend was the reason why I opened up.
Mm-hmm.
She came to Ohio. She walked into my apartment and she told me to get up and walk, and I
Okay.
couldn't. And Michelle didn't play that. She was not the one to sit around and allow you to be in this position where you couldn't do for yourself.
Right.
So she literally was like, get up, walk. And I
Mhm.
was like, I can't. And I broke down. And the only people that knew at the time was my fiance and my cousin.
Mhm.
And I made them not tell anybody, including my parents. My parents did not know I couldn't walk for
Oh
almost a
wow.
year.
Oh
And that
wow.
was a choice because I felt like I didn't want to put that on my parents or my family or anybody else. I was going to try to make this work out the best that I can. And so I thought, okay, so it's so funny. I thought I was hiding,
Mhm.
and I really wasn't.
Mm.
I wasn't. I wasn't hiding, not walking. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't happy. I wasn't hiding none of that. I thought
Mhm.
I was though. I thought I was, girl, I got a job at home. I'm
Right.
good.
Right.
And it wasn't that. It literally was you are suffering and you trying to act like we can't see you suffering.
Right. Right.
So yeah, my best friend did not. And ever since then it was like, and she threatened me. You don't tell your mom and your daddy, I'ma call
I
them and
would
tell
tell
them.
them.
I know how to
Mhm.
get in contact with them. And I was like,
Right.
all right, I'm gonna call them. Like you always gotta get up in my business. But I'm thankful for thankful for
Right.
her, and I'm thankful God for her. Her and my other best friend Brian, they did not play. They made trips to Ohio. Let me tell you, when y'all got friends that would travel 9 hours
Yep.
to get you right,
Those are real. Those are
y'all
real.
better hold on to them. And when you
Yeah.
got people that call you consistently and that will pray over you and that will do for you, those are the people you want to hold on to. And
Yeah. Those
even
are
and then
real.
remember when they become family, family fight. But y'all don't stay in that place. Y'all make up, y'all love on each other, and
Right.
y'all keep it pushing. Okay?
Yeah.
Little tidbit,
Yeah.
little encouragement for y'all.
No, I mean you hit it on the nail, fam. I mean supportive system, genuine,
Hmm.
reciprocity. I think those are important. Purposeful relationships, I think, is important.
Right,
Not
right.
just to have people around you and then they leeching off of you or whatever. They just draining your energy. I'm big on energy because I always feel like energy doesn't lie. Your energy speaks sometime before your mouth even say anything or your face. Because I'm very big on facial. Sometimes I'm working on the facial expressions thing for me, right?
Oh, Karen.
Because sometimes I tend to
Oh,
speak, my my
I'm
face
sorry,
has
y'all.
to say everything before my mouth even says it.
Let me tell
You
y'all
know,
something. I knew Karen for some years, honey. Her face, you be like, now what? She
right? You know me. You know my face speaks before my mouth
be
even say
like,
it. Like if
nothing.
I'm mad or annoyed, you know it because my face would have said it and my energy would have talked about it already,
And she be
right?
like, nothing. And I be like,
Yeah,
you lying?
yeah.
What is
You know.
wrong with you? But I definitely understand it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
energy. I feel like people think that energy is fake. No, honey, energy is real. Energy
And,
talks before your mouth even says it. Sometimes even your facial expressions even speaks it.
yeah. And this is something that this is a lesson that I recently learned. I know Karen and I we talked about this because
Mm-hmm.
y'all we do talk y'all outside of
Yes.
this but I've learned recently I made a lot of mistakes and
Oh yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes and I'm learning
Yes.
not to beat myself up over these mistakes because you're going
That's
to
the
make them.
key. That's the
So
key.
here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of mistakes. I messed up a lot. I apologize a lot. And people tell me stop apologizing. That's been a big thing for me. I'll apologize. But here's the thing I've learned is that in my apology, once you apologize to somebody and you sincerely mean it, now here's the thing, you don't sincerely mean it, that's on you, that don't for nobody else, okay?
Right.
But if you sincerely mean it and you apologize, and that person, even though they tell you that they forgive you, and they still are showing you the signs that they still in their feelings, do not beat yourself up.
Right. Right.
I'm telling you this from experience.
Right.
Because that person has to then come to terms on their own.
Yeah. That's true.
But you have already done what you were supposed to do if you did it with the sincere heart.
Right.
Okay. And then once you get to that point, you keep moving on.
Right.
Okay. If this person is your family, your friend, whoever, and they are true to you and they love you the way that they say that they do, trust me when I say they will come around. But you still have to do what's best for you. And
Right.
listen, you are not here to impress people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that. I am a people pleaser. This is my testimony. This is my story. I've been going through it these last few years and I'm really coming to terms and telling myself the full truth. I am a people pleaser, and because of that, I am not pleasing God.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Right.
Because when you're pleasing God, I trust you that your life will be a whole lot, guarantee you that. So
Yeah.
I'm don't beat yourself up. I'm a beater upper. I beat myself up all the time.
Yeah, but
Don't beat yourself up.
yeah, but it's key. I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that because at least you know you're aware that that's the issue. That's your current battle, right? And as long as you're aware of it, you'll be able to make changes to things to work towards that. You know, and be
Yes.
intentional on that. I think that's key as
That's
well.
that's the word, intentional.
You
I've
know.
learned to be intentional in things. And it's so funny because I was like, I'm getting used to saying no. I don't want to do that. I ain't doing that. No.
Mm-hmm.
That no, I'm like, I have a hard time telling people no,
Girl,
but I'm
that
realizing no for me
it's a full
means I get to
sentence.
spend some time to myself. No, I'm not
Yeah,
answering my phone.
you
No,
don't. Right.
my phone is going to be on do not disturb. It's always on
Right.
do not disturb because you don't know what I go through on a daily basis. So
Right.
it's going to stay there. No, I'm not changing my
Right.
rules. So it's learning how to deal with that. But let me tell y'all, a lot of this is where get you have to find out who you are.
Yeah.
You have to really ask yourself, as my pastor say, the hard questions.
Yeah.
Tell yourself, stop lying to yourself, honey. The lying to yourself ain't gonna get you nowhere.
No, I mean you. No, you're right. You hit it. You hit it on it now. Just when when you mentioned those particular points, I think it's important to, we all have trauma and things that we carry on with.
Mhm.
But I think as long as you are true with yourself and making changes to work towards those particular issues, I think
Mhm.
that that's the goal. I think that's you reaching your higher self, whatever that is for you as a person, right?
Yeah. I have a
Um,
question.
sure.
You said something about TikTok. What you seen on TikTok? I'm curious.
I'm gonna get to that. That's gonna be the last question that I'm
I
gonna be
I'm just
asking.
asking
But
because
I knew
it's
you.
I could.
How did I know she was gonna be?
I don't know what I did on TikTok, y'all. I'm about to
You
close my
didn't do
TikTok
nothing
whole
bad. Sorry,
account.
you said
I'm
nothing,
like,
but
oh, my TikTok about to get closed
nothing,
down, y'all. Okay, go
nothing.
ahead.
All right. So the last question. I mean, this is the second. This is gonna be the two. I have two questions. This is
Okay.
one. The first one is I know the last live you mentioned that one for one leg it requires two surgeries, right, to remove
Mhm.
the excess skin.
Mhm.
And I know you also still currently have more surgeries to go,
Mhm.
So I'm sure going under the knife is very scary, right? For
Mhm.
anybody. What and I know God is the pivotal, that's the shoulders you lean on to stand on,
Mhm.
right? To allow you to go through this journey.
Mhm.
How important do you think or you believe having some form of faith or just have a higher calling belief in any, especially in this particular journey, because you're going under the knife, and we all know under the knife there's no guarantees. You could
Mhm.
be as healthy as you want to be, as healthy as you are as an individual, but ultimately we don't know how things are going to turn out. We could just go with faith and allow the process to go as the process is going to go. How important do you think or you believe having a higher, spirit, you don't have to be religious, but it could be spirituality, right? Having
Mhm.
some form of something else to grab onto other than yourself.
Let me tell y'all. Um, she's about to make me go really deep, isn't she? This is deep, Lord.
Lord Jesus. Let me put my phone down.
And every time we go into this type of conversation, I end up crying because it makes me really do self checks. I realized that my faith, and I can only talk
Mhm.
about my faith, y'all. I'm not talking about
Right,
nobody else, but this is Tiffany's, okay? Because
right.
I realized that my faith is so important,
Hmm.
because that's what gets me through. But I
Hmm.
also know that the more seasoned you are in your faith, that you are supposed to always grow and go higher in it.
Right.
And I know sometimes life happens and you find yourself, let me rephrase that. I found myself in many different parts of my faith that
Hmm.
lingered. I'm not going to
Right,
tell you guys no lie. And me
right,
and Karen talked about this off camera
right.
many
Yes, we
times.
have.
My faith has lingered a lot because of the things that the world has done and not what God has done.
Right.
The one thing that I have stood on throughout the process of my surgeries that I've already had was I walk into the hospitals praying the hospitals up. I
Mhm.
am scared crazy, y'all. Do y'all hear me when I go into the hospital?
Mhm.
I am scared because I do not know what's going to happen. But
Right.
even though I'm scared, I am praying and I am worshiping.
Right.
Even if I'm not going into the hospital, even if I'm in my house and I'm scared and I don't know what to do, I am praying and I I call Jesus' name until I feel better.
Mhm.
That's just me.
Right.
I got to feel that you there. So, and then I'm one of those, I'll be like, Lord, I need you to be in the medicine, the knife, the doctors, the nurses, the bed
Right.
sheets,
Right.
the equipment. I want him to be in everything.
Right.
Because if it's anointed by God, it can't go wrong. Now,
Right.
if it's my time to go, now there's some days. Now I've been hit quite a few times with, you're not gonna make it, Tiffany. I've
Mhm.
been told that. Karen knows this. With septic of the blood, they was like, this girl,
Mhm.
she's gonna make it. She on 15 liters of oxygen and my
Right.
faith. So I'm not going to tell you that my faith is not what it holds on. And I'm scared. I still say these days, I am scared.
Mhm.
But God, you said in your word,
Right.
God, you said, and that's my thing. God, you said, by his stripes I'm healed.
Right.
God, you said if I have faith as small as a mustard seed.
Mhm.
God, you said in Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God, you said in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. So that's how I get through. If you was
Mhm.
to walk into my room, I have affirmations all over the place. I may be studying the word and I might put a scripture up. I've just now started back to what I used to do is I have to learn a scripture, one scripture a week so that
Mhm.
it can be embedded in my soul. This week in Psalms 121, 1 and 2 that I'm studying because that's letting me know where my help comes from.
Mhm.
So I'm saying that's how I can't answer it any other way. But
Right.
your faith depends on you.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I have not been scared. I have not wavered. I have not messed up. I have not slipped up. I have not cursed somebody out and prayed about it later. I'm not going to do that.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
of
going to tell you that's
course.
my truth. But
Right.
I know that my Bible is my God,
Right.
and I can always go to it to get the help that I need. But I
Right.
also have to be able to keep that.
Right.
So that's. I hope I answered your
That's the
question.
word. No, it's not wrong or right answer. That's the word. You know, I think when I mean, just my person, because you and I had this conversation before. When I had came to you and I asked you, listen, I know you, like for me, for example, right? I was raised. My mother had me do my communion and all that stuff, right? But when I come to step into a church, I have been years. I'm not gonna lie, right? But I kind of stepped away from my religions, oh my God, and my spirituality for a while. For excuse me, for a number of reasons. And now I'm working on building my spirituality. I have a strong connection to God, right, to my creator. And I came to you and I asked you, I said, Tiffany, I know that you are, you read the Bible and all of that stuff. And I did ask you. And I said, well, how did you start putting that, right? Building that relationship with the creator? Because I want to start working on that for myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. And you tell me what I had to do. And what I did, what I have been doing consistently for the last 2 months is meditate and pray in the morning when I get up.
Come on, see.
I get up at 6:30, 6:30 every morning. I mean 5 days, even in the weekends. Sometimes I hate that. Not to go off the topic, but I always make it my business to pray, right? If I'm in a rush and I cannot intentionally pray for 15, 20 minutes like I usually like and meditate, then I just say, God, thank you. I'm grateful for waking me up this morning because today I'm late. I gotta go. I'm kind of delayed. But I always try to make sure that that's something that I do just because I'm really being intentional of creating a more stronger spirituality relationship with the creator for me. That's where I am in my journey right now. And the
Mhm.
more I do it, I find that I'm more my mind and my third eye, I guess if they want to call it, is opening up my
Your
mind, my
discernment.
mindset.
Um, you make me so happy because a lot of times I feel when people ask me questions like, "How did you start your relationship with God?"
Yeah.
I have a simple conversation with him. And I
Yeah.
know that I go,
That's what you told me.
how can
That's
you
what you
just have
told
a
me.
conversation? I was like, the same way
Yeah.
you have a conversation with your homegirl and your homeboy.
You told me
It's a
that same thing.
conversation. And I'm
Mhm.
happy that you said that. Because sometimes I'm like, God, I may not be doing the right thing. And I'm
Mhm.
about to cry because that really makes me happy that you are building a relationship with God. And I'm crying, y'all. And I'm gonna be so honest. I'm crying because lately I'm in a position where I feel like my voice doesn't have a voice.
Mhm.
So when people ask me questions, I don't never you would never hear what the results are at the end.
Right.
You don't know what happened. You don't go back and say, "Well, hey, how did it go?" I don't do that. And I don't know. You never hear the testimonies all the time. That's just
Right.
it.
Right.
It's amazing to hear that you are intentionally making time for him.
Yeah.
We are in a challenge in our church where the apostle asked some asked people who want to join him in reading three chapters of the New Testament, and I joined to the challenge. And it's ironic because you read the scriptures, right? You read them,
Mhm.
if you in church you read the scriptures, but it's when you go back and you read it again,
Right. It
and
hits
and
different.
it's really different. And so this time
Mhm.
I'm reading it, and I've been asking God for the last few days. I said, God, the word tells us that we are supposed to be the seasoning salt of the earth, right?
Mhm.
And I said, God, what am I seasoning people with?
Mhm.
That means I'm asking because I feel like I may not be doing what you called me to do, but to hear you today,
I'm telling you, Tiffany. I mean, and you know, when I asked you that after my
I
mother's
give God all
passing,
the
you
praise.
know, after my mother's passing, it really catapulted me to really be intentional on building that relationship. You know, because one, because of who I know she is and her faith was, but also for myself, for my own healing, going through that process of healing, still healing my mother's passing. So
Mhm.
for me, that was really pivotal for me. That's like something that I really intentionally wanted to do because I felt kind of lost a little bit, you
Yeah,
know?
it's you can definitely feel, and I'm gonna tell people, you can feel lost even if you know that you're in church.
Yeah.
I'm learning that. People may not want to admit that. I'm going to admit that.
Hmm.
And it's something Karen and I talked about as well. I said, even though I work in the church,
Hmm.
I don't feel my relationship is that strong with God. So I had to be intentional, and
That's
intentional means spending
yeah.
that time.
Yeah, that's good that you brought that up because I want to. This is the second part. I said two questions, but now I got a third one. That's what I got. All right, so funny that you mentioned that, right? Because I find that sometimes when people are, the church members and advocate, church attendees, right? People have this idea that they don't struggle because they're connected to God. That they struggle, they save, they good. Because you with God, you good. You ain't gonna struggle now, right? And I think that's something that I feel like sometimes maybe the church on its own maybe have that perception. I don't know, but I feel like how does that work for you? Like especially you just mentioned you being a representative and being still part of the church. How are you able to make maybe balance out giving to others, but also keeping your sanity, your connection with God anchor,
Okay,
right?
I'm still
And
learning
understand.
that.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay
I'm
too.
I'm still
That
learning
is
how to balance.
okay.
How to
That's
balance.
okay.
Honestly, you're right. A lot of people feel, oh, she's a member of the church. She got it all together, or she
Right.
looked like she got it together, and don't know
Right.
half of us is living
Right.
paycheck to paycheck. Probably ain't got no food in our cupboards. Probably can't pay a bill next week.
Right.
Probably just borrowed $20 for gas in the car. Uh, it's a lot of different things, and it's so funny because that's exactly how Faith and Fuel came about, and I told you about that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because even though it may look like I'm together, y'all, I live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
I got student loan
Right.
debts, like everybody else do.
Right.
I have, but the difference is, here's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
How do you still, people can look at you think you got money and you ain't got none. That's the glory of God.
Mm-hmm.
That's what God, that's what it is. It's even though I know I'm going through this, God is still good. But God.
Right.
That's
Yes.
that but God faith. So if you thinking that people got it together in the church, honey, let me get that correct. I love what my big sister say all the time. I love you, Jackie girl. This is what you say. Folks on Facebook ain't really happy.
Lord Jesus Christ. Yes. People be capping on the face grams too. Okay.
Folks on social media ain't really happy, y'all.
Right. Yeah, people
What
be
you may
yeah.
think or what you may see is betrayed ain't really what it is.
Right.
But people who of God, if you are of
People get lost in it,
we
I think,
we we we
sometimes.
we as my church is taught, we have to
Mm-hmm.
be transparent. We have to tell the truth.
Right.
So that we have to be able to tell the truth so that we will be able to show people, even in God, we go through. But the
Right.
God that we serve is get us through. We may
Yes.
go through, but
Mm-hmm.
who we serve and help us get through.
Mm-hmm.
I want y'all to hear that. Just because you're going through that don't mean just because you see, oh, the pastor be taking money. Let me tell y'all something. These my pastor, I'm talking about my pastor. I can't talk about nobody else's pastor, but
Mm-hmm.
my two pastors, they will give they all. They will stay up night and day. Do you hear me? They will pray. Being an assistant to them, I have watched them pray. I have watched them go through. I have watched them go through things with members. I have seen them go through things with family, and still they had to go and give the glory of God. They still had to praise like never before, and then they had to praise because they had to teach how to get through when you're going through. That's why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't want y'all to think every pastor out there trying to take you for your money, honey. There are pastors out there who love people and who want people to get into the kingdom of God. I am underneath pastors that want you to get into the kingdom. Our model is to save much souls. We want you to be saved. We want you to have the glories of God. And let me tell you, they will go without so that you can have.
Yeah.
I have seen them go without for someone else to have. Main reason why so many of us in our church are givers because we want to be able to make sure that you are good.
Right.
Now, we don't want people to take advantage of us because if they do
Right.
that, then you probably get told off.
Right.
But you have to understand that even though we're in the church, that does not mean that we don't fall and that
Right.
we're not human. We are very much human. We have feelings, we have emotions, we get hurt, we get
Mm-hmm.
broken. You may came in the church broken. That doesn't mean that we ain't coming in broken.
Right.
But the difference is it's our job to show you how to get through. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be broken no more. So when Karen came to me and she asked me, well, how did you get your relation with God? I had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of conversation.
And that was the same question I asked you. I said, conversation. Like, what kind of conversation?
What
Like, what do you
kind of,
mean?
yeah, yeah. She was like, what you mean conversation?
Like, do
I'm like,
you?
hey, wait, you talking to me?
Mm-hmm. I sure did. I was like, well, give me something to start with because I need to start somewhere. And you was
And I
like,
told
no,
her,
just have a conversation.
just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. God is a big God. He can handle if you're mad.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because my pastor just said this. She said, you can be angry, but say not. That's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, God, I'm mad right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why does keep happening?
Right.
What is it that I'm not seeing that this keeps going down the way that it's going down? Now, I'm going to tell y'all, like I told Karen, because I had to learn this the hard way. Don't ask God questions you don't want to know the answer to.
That's funny that you mentioned that because you know what's funny? I'm a true believer that right. Sometimes because of my experience, that's why I say that. Right. Sometimes we go through a certain circumstances in life that maybe it's a lesson that we don't catch. And the way the universe works, it will bring you the same lesson with a different face or a different personality. Right? Hoping that you catch that lesson for a second time. And I
But
say that because I have seen that multiple of time in my lifetime. Like, and maybe I'm not. And you know what's funny? I'll be like, God, am I hard headed? Because did I go through
y'all see, I'm raising my hand. I am hard headed.
it?
And the thing is, and this is
Yeah.
something I said to my best friend the other day. I said, why is it that, and it's funny again, studying my word, this new challenge that we in with the church. It said, Jesus said, no, not Jesus. John the Baptist said in the book of Matthew, he said, "I'm here to help you get rid of your old life so that you can have a kingdom life."
Yes. And I think that's the yeah, that's I mean, that's funny. I didn't know. See, I didn't even know that scripture. Like I said, I haven't read the Bible. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie to y'all. But the fact that my own analysis and my own, just sitting back and just assessing things, I noticed that about certain things, different gaps in my life. That things happen once, and then they came back around with a different situation, like a different person, right? So it's funny that you mentioned that. But listen, my last question is, I'm gonna pivot because I know the time is ticking, and I don't
Guys,
want to keep you guys here too
let's
long.
pivot.
My
Let's
last
pivot.
question is this. I saw you on TikTok and you had mentioned this gentleman had given you a compliment. And you did not know how to perceive, you didn't know how to take the compliment. Right? And I like the message behind what you said. But my thing is post surgery, now that how is dating post surgery? How is fashion, getting your clothes back together? Trying different outfits that strike to you and your personality. How is that?
Why did I know that was the video that she was talking about? She couldn't pick the video, y'all, with me learning how to walk. She had to pick that video, right? That particular
You
video.
know people. You know people gonna want to know now. How is dating post surgery and fashion? Because everybody want to feel good in what they wear. So how was that? How was
So
that for you? Is
let's
it
go with the
fun? Is
fashion
it?
part. Let's go with the
Yeah.
fashion part first, and then we're gonna switch over
All
to the
right.
other one.
Cool. All right. Cool.
As y'all can see right now today, I'm wearing this really, really nice,
And you
pretty
look beautiful, honey, with that pink
just pink. Well, I'm representing pink today because y'all know it's breast cancer
awareness
awareness.
month.
It's cancer
Yep.
awareness month. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And my best friend is a survivor of breast cancer. My adopted dad is a survivor of throat cancer.
Yes.
My sister is a survivor of cancer. I have three people in my life that are survivors of cancer, and I'm very
Amen.
much thankful.
Mm-hmm.
But I have lost people to cancer. Actually, both of my grandparents died of cancer. One was pancreatic. I think my grandfather. I forgot the two different cancers, but my grandmother and my grandfather passed away of cancer. So I'm very much an advocate and supporter, not a, but supporter of cancer. So this is why. But this dress, y'all wouldn't believe, is a 3X.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't worn a 3X since I was in high school.
Oh, girl.
Okay.
Okay.
My whole entire adult life from age of 25 up until about 2 years ago, about a year ago, I've been in a 5X, 4X, 6X, 7X.
Mm-hmm.
So me to wear this dress is a 3X. A lot of my sweaters, my like cardigan, not yeah, my cardigan sweaters are 3Xs. I have a couple of shirts that are 2Xs. So clothes is different
Right.
in a way because I am not used to being able to go to a rack and buying clothes. I'm used to have to order my clothes for it to come in. But to
Right.
say, oh, I got to run to the store and pick something up because I got to go to so and so, it's
Right.
weird. It's a
Right.
little weird for me.
Right.
And just like one day I went to work and it got real cool when I didn't have a sweater and I was able to run over to Walmart and buy a sweater. That's
Mm-hmm.
that is ironic, especially when you are so used to you got to spend $60 to $80, at Lane Bryant or
Right.
uh, the Avenue or Ashley Stewart, where girl you can go to
Mm-hmm.
Walmart and get $15 sweater, you good to go, or you can go
Right.
get your pair of $20
Right.
jeans and from
Right.
Walmart and you good to go. So that is a blessing, but I still suffer from I call it the fat girl syndrome.
I was about, girl, you reading my mind today? Because I was gonna be. I'm as you say it. I'm listening to you. I'm like, I'm wondering.
I'm
Because
still
do you
suffering.
still buy clothes because are you used to your old size and you're not
Yes.
realizing they're
I
too
in the
big?
mind, in your mind, you still think you're a size 6X, 7X.
Right. Right.
Your mind has not been fully renewed,
Mm-hmm.
right? So renewing in the mind because you still think that you're this big girl. And so yeah, there's days where I'll be like, oh, I ain't that size no more. I still have like right now, all of my leggings are size 4X and I need to be a 3X. I need to go buy a whole new set of leggings.
Wow.
And y'all wanted to catch me in leggings some years ago. Y'all
Wow.
it's a
Okay.
joke. Okay. So most of my leggings are 4X's and they look like joggers. Y'all know how the joggers are loose? That's
Yeah,
what it looks like. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give you some 3X leggings. So I'm 3X in my leggings. My pants, if I was to buy like dress pants for work, is a size 26. I can go between a 24, 26, or a 28 is the highest. If I go a
Mm-hmm.
32, they're falling
Two,
off of me.
they falling
Yeah,
off.
they're
Okay.
falling off. I still got the big bottom, and I'm working on that. But I'm now between a 22 and a 28 in bottoms. I'm between a when I look at Tory, because I do a lot of shopping with Tory, I'm either
Mm-hmm.
between a 2 and a 4 shirt,
Okay.
depending on how the shirt is, which is like a 2X, 3X, or 4X. 4X
Okay.
is when I'm lounging around the house, and that's like I really need the loose fitting shirts. But
Right.
between 2X and a 3X, I'm really with the shirt, depending on
You
how it's.
good.
This shirt here that I have here is a 3X. Like if I was keep a shirt underneath this dress, the dress is a 3X. So I'm really good in that department. I'm
Okay.
learning how to dress. I got a lot more to learn.
Is it fun? Having fun with it?
No,
No. Why not?
it's not fun for me because once I get into one size, like I was so used to like when I first had surgery, I was a size 4X. I went down to a 5X. I went down to a 4X, and like 3 months later, I was down into a 3X, and I
Oh, I
couldn't.
see why.
And I'm
Okay.
buying clothes left and right. And I'm like, I ain't got no money to keep buying clothes like this.
I
What
see
is
what
going
you're
on?
saying.
So
Yeah.
it's not always fun for me.
Yeah.
It's fun that I can go to buy gowns to wear to galas that I go to. That part is fun.
Okay.
Because I can look
Okay.
like a princess. So that part is fun. But sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not. I'm still trying to reach the goals so I can wear my heels because I really want to do heels. But
Right.
I am blessed now that I can fit into some jeans and they ain't got to
Okay.
be pull up, honey. I can button and zip jeans.
Okay.
Um, and I'm happy that I can wear shoe boots
Oh, that's good.
because I couldn't do shoe boots before.
That's
And I'm
good.
talking about the ones that come up on the calf because y'all know because we're big, you can't really buy the ones with calf. I got the
Okay.
ones that come up the calf and stuff. So I'm happy about that. But it's hard sometimes. It's hard. As for dating, ha ha ha.
Yes.
Um, so I gotten out of a relationship at the beginning of this year. I was in for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I didn't tell most people that I was supposed to get married this year, and I did not. Um, it's different.
Mhm.
Let me tell you guys, after surgery and before surgery, I had the same mindset when it came to dating
Mhm.
because I didn't feel like I was worth it.
Mhm.
Just recently, and this is so funny, I'm about to share my transparency. Jesus. I thought that my ex was here in North Carolina with me, and I got angry. Y'all hear me? I got mad, honey. I was like, I know he didn't follow me. No, 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 no. And I'm doing all this. And like maybe like 3 blocks after I left where I was at, something said, "So are you sure you ready for a relationship? Because why you still mad if he in North Carolina?" And I was like, "Ooh, I'm not ready.
You're
I
not
have some
ready.
things that I need to uproot out.
Right.
I have some things
Okay.
that I need to let go." And how I know I'm going to be ready is when I'm ready to sit down and have a conversation with this person and not
Mhm.
be angry and really discuss what happened and be
Right.
honest and truthful and forgive.
Right. Right.
Then I'll be ready. And then learning how to know what I want
Yes. And
and not
verbalize that. Yeah.
you know and even in our women's group learning how to pray for your husband.
Mhm.
Ironically, last night I found myself, that's what I was doing. I was saying, you know what, God, I just want him to be happy right now, wherever he's at. Let him
Mhm.
be happy. Let him be
Mhm.
content in the life that he's choosing to be in. Let him
Mhm.
understand who you are. And if I'm not ready to be united with him, God, don't put me with that man because I ain't trying to be toxic to nobody else.
Right. I think that's. I think. I mean, that's a right there. It's a. Listen, that's good when you said when you just mentioned right there. Just allowing yourself to heal from whatever past experience, right? Because we all have those past experiences, but also understanding that when you jump into a new relationship with someone, it's with a new mindset, and there will be triggers, but not allowing those triggers to just spill and take you to a whole another place that you have allowed yourself to come out of. You
Yeah.
know,
It's
so
it's different. It's
yeah,
different. And you know me because you know me when I was in another relationship. And I'm gonna
yeah.
just give y'all a little tidbit. Karen be like, "Girl, why you keep going back there?" And she be telling her, why you want her? You ain't want her, and now you want her, and now and I didn't remember y'all, and I'm laughing because I can talk about it now, remember about it now because it's so funny. but I remember at that time, that very last time, let me tell y'all, I can tell the story, Karen, I can tell the story. Because we got to move on, tell the story real quick. So the very last time with this particular guy, and I knew this guy probably off and on for about 9 to 10 years. I've dated this guy off and on for this one because I think, yeah, it had to be
Yeah,
because I
that's
knew
a
him
while.
longer than I knew Karen.
Yes.
Yeah, so like off and on for like 9 or 10 years, me and this guy dated, and in between us dating, he was having children. Okay, but I still stood by him. It was the very last time we tried to like work it out, right? And I remember he calling me and we was gonna meet up with Karen and her dude, and we was gonna all hang out. We was gonna go to Harlem. I remember this, and I was like, "All right, cool." That I haven't seen Karen, I ain't seen her dude in a minute. We gonna go out there
Right.
myself. And I remember going out to Harlem.
This was years ago she's talking
Years ago.
about.
Okay, this is years ago, y'all. This is not
Yeah,
like
this is
recent.
not
Like
recent. This is like,
I'm talking about like 10, 12 years ago.
yeah, this is
This
a
is like
while.
12,
This is
13
this
years
is a
ago.
few years
This is
ago.
10 years ago. And I remember going to Harlem. Yo, we old Karen. But I remember
Girl.
I remember going to Harlem and getting to Karen in the house and giving Karen a hug and stuff. And I remember her pulling me aside.
God.
And she said, "What are you doing? Why do you keep coming back to this one?" And I was like, "No, girl, because we're gonna try to work it out." She was like,
I
"Tiffany,
was like, really, Tiffany? Working out what?
Tiffany, are you serious? Seriously, Tiffany." I just remember her really going on for me. And then I remember I was like, "All right." So then um Karen was getting ready. I think she was getting dressed, whatever. We was gonna go get Chinese food or something. So me and the dude and her dude went out to go get the Chinese food. And coming back, and Karen still looking at me like,
I was giving
"For
you the
real,
mom, the look like, mm-hmm.
for real." Y'all know that look. She be like, "Solid."
Yeah.
And I remember we ate, and then I was like, I'm gonna head. So me and the dude was like, we're gonna head back, and he thought we was headed back to his house, right? And I just kept hearing Karen and like,
Yeah, man. I
and so
tell
we
you.
walked to 125th
Yep.
train station. I would never forget this day. And it was, I remember just getting to the train station, and we ended up taking the 4 train, right? Going to the platform on the 4 train. I'm laughing, y'all, because Karen, because they didn't walk with us to the train station, so we walked to the
No,
train
no,
station.
no. We skid off and then they
Yeah,
wherever they
right.
went.
So I remember getting on the platform, and on one, if y'all know New York and whoever's watching, on one side of the platform is going uptown, and the other side is going downtown.
Right.
And so I just remember being on the platform, and he's standing next to me, and he was talking, right? And he was talking, and I just kept hearing Karen's voice, like, "Really, Tiffany? No, for real, really?" And I was just like, "What is going on?" And then like all these emotions was coming up, and then somebody had called my name, and when I turned around, it was one of my other exes, his son. And he used to call me mom. And he was like, "Mom, what you doing out here?" Da, da, da. I was like, "Nothing, I'm just chilling." And he walked off. And the dude that I was with was like, "So who was this guy that you was dating that you know his son?" And I was like, "You know what?" And when I said, "You know what?" the train going towards Brooklyn downtown had pulled up. And I was like, "It was good to see you again." And I hopped on the train and I left, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's when you ended it, no? Is that
I
what the
ended
last
it
of the
just
last?
like that.
Yeah.
And I would probably say a few weeks later, Karen called me, was like, "Why he mad? Like, I don't understand." He did all,
Listen,
he did
that's
all this
not my
stuff.
problem.
He did all this stuff, and now he calling me and mine because he mad because you left him on the platform and you sent his keys back to him. I was so let me tell y'all, me and Karen go back way back, but she was
Yeah,
so
we go.
real and she was so honest, and she didn't know how much that day she triggered so much in my mind because she made me think about everything.
Yeah, man. Listen, I just felt, at that time, I think we were just, I think at that time, we were just maybe 6 months into knowing each other, right? It was pretty
Yeah.
new. But I really enjoyed your energy. You was really, funny, talking. I really enjoyed your vibe and everything. And me, my nosy self, I was supposed to know stuff, but I be finding out stuff. Thank you for being detective, nosy as I say,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, but it is so funny because I knew her dude, and when he told me that he had her, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, we not gonna talk about that, but yeah, man, I just
It
feel
was
like
crazy.
I just feel like
That's how.
I just feel like you were deserving of better. Honestly, as a
Yeah,
woman, because as a woman myself, I just felt like you deserve better,
yeah.
and I just felt like, yeah, I didn't know this. I known you, but not that much, not that long enough. But I still felt I had to say something like,
It,
"Girl, what are
it,
you
it was
doing?"
funny. It was funny. It was funny. But like that was a pivotal point in relation. Like that was the first time I thought I can leave a guy and didn't have, that thing and not the cockiness, but I can just leave him. But I think after that, I really because I had just started working for the state of New York for the DMV too, and I
DMV,
think
yeah,
that's another reason why he tried to keep me because his his best friend was like, bro, she go to school, she got a good job. You
right.
really
You
ain't
had,
trying
yeah, you
to.
had your own thing going. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
was doing
so
good things for
I was
yourself.
I was really doing amazing stuff, and he I guess I don't know he just really thought that that was going to be his ticket. But at the end of the day, it was the first time I felt powerful enough to leave a dude. But I also gave my life over to God about a year ago after that. That was in
See,
2008. Yes, in 2009. I literally gave my life over to God and I really dedicated my life to God. And from that, I just really was like, but nothing, other stuff happened. I got into a domestic violence situation after that. I went through different stages in my
mm-hmm,
walk with God, but I'm alive. I'm a survivor from domestic violence. Like I said, an author. I'm doing stuff in the church.
mm-hmm,
It's a lot of different things that I'm doing. I'm proud of. I have
right.
so much more to give. I just have to get over being scared.
And you know what? Honestly, to be honest with you, I think we never gonna be over again. I think it's just a matter of just doing things, right? Because the more you do things, the fear itself will kind of just evaporate. And that's just my personal take when it comes to fear, because I experienced imposter syndrome and fear and different things. Even in my journey that I'm doing now, I'm fearful of a lot of things, but I choose not to allow those fears to stop me from doing what I want to do and just have. And one thing that I always tell myself is my faith is bigger than my fear, right? As I'm going through process of different things, I always constantly tell myself that in the morning. I'm always telling myself that because I don't want my fear to paralyze me, because at one time it did, and I
Yeah.
don't want that to be. I want to achieve great things in my life. I have certain visions that I have for myself, so I always tell myself that my faith is bigger than my fear. My faith, and I always that's something that a mantra that I have in my mind every day. That I always constantly telling myself every morning, or whenever I feel like I need to say it. For anybody that want to just repeat it to themselves, you go ahead and try it. But listen, we've been here almost 90 minutes, girl. We're about to let okay.
It always
And then
happens.
and the funny thing, I said, Tisha, we're gonna do this in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, we gotta be done. Girl, it's been almost 90 minutes later, we still
90 minutes
going.
and we still going.
So before we close, any last comments or anyone out there, any last suggestions you
Um,
want people to take to leave with?
so this is what I want to say. Faith to fuel.
Yes.
Faith to fuel is such. When I first said it, it was because I was walking by faith, and I
Mm-hmm.
had but little fuel in my car.
Right.
When I did a little research, I found out that fuel means to take the materials to burn so that it can empower you to go where you have to go. When I found that out, and what I'm learning is you have to have faith and fuel. We're not going to
Yeah.
say faith to fuel or fuel to faith, faith and fuel. You need the fuel to keep you going, and you need your
Mm-hmm.
faith to encourage you to go. So, if I
Right.
leave you with anything today, I want to leave you with knowing that you are capable to do anything you put your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
But don't ever think that anything is impossible because we have the opportunity to serve a God that can make everything impossible
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, wake up with the intention of loving, being happy, and being joyful. I don't care if it's raining outside. I don't care if they say that you're about to get evicted. If you praise your way out of it, I promise you, you will get to wherever you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So if I leave you with anything, Faith the few. You keep going, keep pushing, keep going, keep encouraging yourself because you can't encourage
Mm-hmm.
nobody else if you can't encourage yourself. Tell yourself the truth.
Right.
Tell yourself the truth.
Yeah.
Hold on to your truth.
Yeah.
Forgive
Definitely.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta forgive yourself.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely.
have fun. God didn't make this world to be so hard. He
Yeah.
made it to be loving. Have fun. Choose choices. You can choose to be happy if you choose to. That's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what I have to
Yeah,
say.
that's the word. I hope you guys take that in. But I agree. I mean, for me, it's definitely faith, and there's also action behind the faith, right? Do
Mhm.
the action and allow the faith to just, whatever it is. I just that's just my personal take on it. Just do whatever it is I'm doing to allow myself to have a bigger goal, a bigger life, and just keep moving forward. And then allow God, and whatever I can control, just allow God to handle and let Him deal with that
Yeah.
without, just beating myself about it because that's not really going to do stressing out because something you can't control is not going to do nothing for you.
Mhm.
Just let it go. Do what you handle, what you can handle, and everything else, child, let it go, let it go, let God deal with it. So I hope today's chat was very helpful to you guys and you guys enjoyed it. Because I wanted to bring Tiffany back because part one was very choppy, like I said, and I thought that um her testimony, her story was very interesting, and I think it was empowering, motivating, and I think anybody could learn from it. Um, so everybody have a good Sunday, and you guys take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.